Jordan, folks here don't know much about you yet. Tell us kind of what your philosophy and approach to offense will be with the Bears.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is ill-intent and explosive mentality. Talking with the guys, and the very first thing we talked about, just what is it going to look like on tape, is all 11 playing with ill-intent, explosive mentality. And like what Coach Lepoy found in Pillar, right, power of unit, and all 11 playing for each other. That's the biggest thing.
How excited are you to coach Jiren?
Yeah, that's the obvious one. He, just like Coach had mentioned before, person first. Like he is everything that is said about him 100% accurate. Like he is awesome to be around. Obviously, super talented young man. Just to get around him, his competitive edge, that was one thing that you get a feel for more being around him, but super competitive individual. And so it's just been awesome being around him through 8 weeks.
If I can ask you one more. You haven't been a coordinator before, I don't believe.
No, sir. 12U football.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little different, I'm guessing, but you tell me. Mm-hmm. And does it help that you have Rolovich sort of as an extra ear?
Yeah, Rolo, let's hit home with. Rolo has been awesome. Rolo, just a wealth of knowledge and information to sit in the room and lean on. And to exactly what you said, I haven't been a coordinator before. Don't be naive to the fact that I haven't done this before. And we can talk about just the organizational piece that bring in and the wealth of knowledge, but at the end of the day, haven't sat in this chair. And so to surround myself in an entire unit with wisdom, so to speak, and guys with a lot of experience, key and critical to our future going forward.
Jordan, you worked with Tosh at Oregon. What were
Yes,
your
sir.
impressions of him at that stage, and how did you? Oh, you didn't work together?
No, we did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, you just talk about like first impressions,
Yeah.
like relentless. Like the story, we were doing our Power of Unit dinners at Oregon in the evening time, and that was actually one of the questions that came up. And for myself, being around Tosh, it's just how relentless the man is in the effort. He is all in. Anything he sets his mind to, he's going to go and get. And that's the just first getting to Oregon. And I just remember I would go to sleep, and he's texting. I will wake up with missed text, and he's still texting in our staff group chat. And the guy's nonstop in a good way. He's, when you can chase after that energy that Tosh leads the way with, man, watch out.
Have you been building in your career to this point when you get this first OC opportunity in the last couple of years? Have you kind of focused on some of the ways you'd like to operate? Have you sort of observed some of the other OCs you've been around and picked some of the things out that you liked and what you want to tweak?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing that you mentioned last is to observe. Firm believer in being where your feet are. And so that's the first and foremost, doing a good job with what was asked of me, where I was at, both Tampa Bay, Oregon, New Mexico, Arizona State, all those places where naturally over time you keep a catalog or a journal, so to speak, of all the coaching points, everything that you've been around, what you would want to do, what you wouldn't want to do, and your personality as a coach will come into play with that. How you teach, first and foremost, and what you believe in core philosophy-wise. But so to speak, yes, like all that detailed note-taking and journal as you go, and making mental notes as you go through.
Jake, right here in front.
I'm sure you've seen films of Cal last year.
Mm-hmm.
Will the offensive scheme be dramatically different this year?
You see reminiscence, so to speak. That's where, like, everybody, to tell you the truth, is going to run some type of zone. Everybody's going to run some type of gap. I think the biggest thing and the biggest difference that you'll see is how we go about doing it. And it all goes back to people. The one thing that is different from this year and last year, obviously, is the people, both players and coaches involved. And so for us, the way we attack it from an offensive standpoint is it's all going to center around people. So who are the people on the grass? And we're going to get some good information come springtime of who those guys are.
Pass the mic to Jeff, please.
Did you know Ike Hillyard at all prior to this? And if I could ask you, what's your impression of him, and what does he bring to the table for you guys?
I did not know Ike before this, but just through the years in the NFL, that was one guy that was constantly talked about, just as a guy of source of wisdom, as calm as it gets, and that's the biggest thing. He is his personality was show, calm, even-tempered, and absolutely loved about it the way he goes about teaching, and just during the interview process, myself and Coach LaPoy. And the way he taught to us, and to not take anything for granted, going about teaching. And I think that's the biggest thing. I know Coach LaPoy talked about it, but one, a perspective of both playing at a high level, right, and then two, coaching at the highest level. So getting a guy like Ike Hillyard in the room, can't take for granted.
Yeah, I tried to ask this question, but he played on a national championship team at Florida where they had never won one before, and he knows what it's like to reach that level
Yeah.
for the first time. And how does that apply potentially to you guys?
Yeah, similar to what Coach LaPoy said, I think the biggest thing is just Ike's personality into teaching and breaking it down. That's the number one thing. Shared experiences, I think that would be one thing, his perspective of the growth that they took at the University of Florida. But I think here, how it pertains to the Cal Bears, right, is his shared perspectives of it going forward. How is it going to help our guys? So I think the biggest thing is just insight to his perspective.
Tosh suggested there's going to be a lot of contact, a lot of hitting in this spring. What's your reaction to that?
Hitting, that's part of the game, right? Like the hit and contact, that's all a part of football. So that's to be expected.
Anything else?
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.